For years, everyone believed my sister was the victim. Every family gathering, every argument, every story. She cried and people listened. She complained and people defended her. And somehow, I always ended up being the problem. My name's Maria, and for most of my life, I learned something early. If you stay quiet long enough, people start writing your story for you. My sister was older than me, smarter, louder, and always dramatic in just the right way. If something went wrong, it was because I was insensitive. If she failed, it was because she was under pressure. If I succeeded, it was luck. And when she cried, everyone rushed to protect her. I didn't fight it. I didn't argue. I didn't explain. Because every time I tried, she would say the same sentence. See, she's attacking me again. And suddenly, I became the villain. For years, my parents believed her version of everything. Friends stopped calling me, relatives whispered behind my back. I was cold, she's jealous, she never supports her sister. I swallowed it all because I thought if I stayed calm, the truth would show itself. I was wrong. She didn't just play the victim emotionally, she built her entire image around it. Online posts, subtle captions, tears in public. People praised her strength, her survival, her courage, and I became invisible. The breaking point came on my birthday. A simple dinner, family only. My sister stood up with a glass in her hand and said, "I just want to thank everyone for always believing me, even when certain people tried to hurt me." Then she looked straight at me. The room went quiet. No one defended me. No one asked what she meant. They already assumed. That night, I went home and cried for the first time in years. Not because I was hurt, but because I realized something terrifying. She didn't need lies anymore. People believed her without proof. And that's when I decided if I was going to be the villain anyway, I might as well tell the truth. What I didn't know yet was that the truth I was about to uncover would destroy everything she built. Because her victim story, it had a foundation, and that foundation was about to collapse. After that night, I stopped reacting. No explaining, no defending, no emotional replies. I started watching. Because once you stop trying to prove your innocence, you begin to see patterns clearly. My sister didn't just feel attacked, she orchestrated situations. She would provoke quietly, then explode publicly. She would send messages, then delete parts of the conversation before showing screenshots to others. She would twist timelines, change wording, add tears at the perfect moment. And people believed her because she had trained them to. I began documenting everything. Dates, messages, voice notes, witnesses, screenshots saved to the cloud. Not to expose her immediately, but to understand how deep this went. Then I noticed something disturbing. Her stories didn't just damage me, they benefited her. She got sympathy, financial help, opportunities, connections. People trusted her instantly because she was the one who suffered. And every time she gained something, my name was quietly attached to the loss. She caused this. She stressed her out. She ruined her confidence. I wasn't just invisible anymore. I was useful. The real shock came when a mutual friend accidentally forwarded me a message. It wasn't meant for me. It was my sister texting someone. As long as they think I'm the victim, I can say anything. I read it 3 times, slowly, carefully, because in that sentence, everything finally made sense. She wasn't reacting emotionally, she was calculating. That night, I opened old memories, arguments that never felt right, moments where people turned against me overnight. It wasn't chaos, it was strategy. And I wasn't the only one she did this to. As I dug deeper, I found messages from other people, ex-friends, former coworkers, even a cousin, all quietly pushed out, all painted as aggressors, all replaced. And suddenly, I understood the truth. My sister didn't survive drama, she created it, and I was just the longest running role in her story. But the thing about people who manipulate reality, they depend on everyone staying silent. And I wasn't silent anymore. I didn't confront her. I didn't warn her. I did something much more dangerous. I let her continue, because the more confident she got, the more careless she got. And in part 3, you'll see the exact moment she overplayed her role, said one thing too confidently to the wrong person, and the entire room started questioning her story. That was the moment her image began to crack. The mistake she made was simple. She got comfortable. Too comfortable. It happened at a family gathering, nothing dramatic on the surface, just relatives, laughter, and casual conversation. My sister was in her element, telling stories, getting sympathy, rewriting history like she always did. Then she said something she shouldn't have. She laughed lightly and said, "I've always been the one cleaning up after her messes. Some people just love playing the victim." She looked at me when she said it. Normally, people would nod. Normally, someone would change the topic. Normally, I would stay quiet. But this time, someone asked a question. My aunt. She said, "What mess exactly?" My sister froze for half a second, not long enough for most people to notice, but I noticed. She smiled and said, "Oh, you know, all the emotional damage she caused me growing up." My aunt frowned. "That's strange," she said slowly, "because I remember you living with us for 6 months after you caused the argument." Silence. My sister laughed nervously. "Oh, that was different." Another cousin spoke up. "Was it? Because you told me she begged you to stop spreading lies back then." The air shifted. Not explosive, not loud, just uncomfortable. For the first time, people weren't defending her automatically. They were thinking. She tried to regain control. Tears formed, voice cracked, but the timing was off. Someone else asked, "Why do your stories always change depending on who you're talking to?" Her face went pale. That's when I did something unexpected. I stood up. Calm, no anger, no accusations. I said, "I don't want to argue. I just want to show something." I connected my phone to the TV. I didn't play everything, just one clip. A voice note. Her voice. Clear. Laughing. Saying, "If I cry, they'll believe me. They always do." No context, no editing, no commentary. Just truth. The room went completely silent. No one spoke, no one moved. My sister stared at the screen like it betrayed her. She tried to explain, tried to say it was taken out of context, but no one interrupted me this time, because they were finally seeing the pattern, not just once, not just with me, but with everyone. That night, people didn't rush to comfort her. They watched her. And that was worse, because when a manipulator loses the audience, they lose everything. But this wasn't the end, because the truth didn't just crack her image, it triggered something else. Messages, calls, confessions. People started reaching out to me privately. And in part 4, you'll see how the story she built for years collapsed in a single week, how she begged me to help her fix it, and why I chose to walk away. while she was left standing alone inside the story she created. After that night, my phone didn't stop vibrating. Old friends, distant relatives, people who had quietly disappeared from my life, all asking the same thing. Was it always like this? Did she do this to you too? I thought I was the only one. That's when the truth fully surfaced. My sister didn't just ruin my image, she recycled the same story for years, changing names, changing details, but always playing the same role: the victim. People compared notes, timelines didn't match, stories contradicted each other, and suddenly the sympathy she lived on turned into doubt. She noticed it too. Her posts stopped, her messages went unanswered, invitations disappeared. 3 days later, she called me, crying, not softly, not strategically, panicking. She said, "Please, you have to help me fix this. They think I'm a liar." I listened, quietly. Then she said something that ended everything. "You know how to explain things better. You always clean up my messes." I laughed. Not loudly, not cruelly, just enough to let her hear the truth. I'm done cleaning. This was never my mess. She begged, promised she'd change, said she didn't mean to hurt me. But here's what people like her never understand. You don't accidentally destroy someone's life. You practice it. I didn't expose her further. I didn't post anything online. I didn't seek revenge. I simply stepped away. And without someone to blame, without someone to point at, her stories stopped working. Today, I'm no longer the villain, not because I proved myself, but because the truth finally spoke louder than her tears. And my sister? She still tells stories, but this time, no one's listening. Sometimes the most powerful revenge isn't destruction, it's letting people face the reality they created.